This was a carefully planned heist. A security company named Foro was transporting a cash-filled armored vehicle when a cement truck suddenly blocked the road. A group of criminals, equipped with an excavator, used it to lift the armored vehicle, preventing it from driving away. They then forced open its doors and used smoke devices to disorient the security personnel. Unnoticed at first, a young boy sitting in a nearby car observed the entire event. When the criminals realized this, they ordered the boy out of the car. Confused and shaking, he tried to contact his father, who was already on a call. Overwhelmed with fear, the boy followed the group's orders to lie on the ground. While the criminals were moving the cash bags, one of the security guards attempted to fight back, managing to reveal the face of one of the culprits. In response, the group neutralized him to protect their identities. To eliminate any witnesses, they also targeted the other personnel and the boy. The boy's father, Patrick Hill, witnessed the situation and rushed toward the scene in desperation. However, he was stopped before he could intervene. As he lost consciousness, he focused on the scarred face of one of the culprits, committing it to memory. Patrick survived the ordeal but spent 3 months recovering in the hospital. After being discharged, Patrick applied for a job at Foro Security. The manager, Terry, mentioned the tragic incident, explaining that two guards and a civilian had lost their lives, and that the suspects were still at large. Terry informed Patrick that he would be replacing one of the team members, though would need to pass a series of firearm qualification tests. Patrick underwent intense training with a colleague nicknamed Bullet. Although his performance was just enough to meet the required standard, he earned approval and joined the team. His calm demeanor earned him the nickname H among his new colleagues. He was soon introduced to others, including Hollow Bob and Bo Sweat Dave. On his first day on the job, the cash delivery went smoothly. However, during his next assignment with Dave, the situation escalated. A group of armed robbers intercepted their vehicle, using radios to coordinate the attack. They ordered Patrick to load the cash into a pickup truck. Patrick, maintaining his composure, intentionally dropped one of the bags to buy time. As one of the criminals approached, Patrick seized the opportunity. He threw the bag but quickly acted, stopping the individual before they could react. Demonstrating remarkable accuracy, Patrick handled the rest of the group and then pursued their leader through a series of nearby buildings, determined to bring the situation under control. Cornering the robber, H eliminates him with precision. H's actions are scrutinized by Terry, who informs him he'll be assigned to desk duty for at least a month. However, Foro's CEO, Blake Halls, praises H's courage, suggesting he deserves recognition. "What you did deserves credit, you're a real hero." Later, H is asked to review footage from a previous armored truck robbery to identify if the criminals seem familiar. While he stares intently at one particular individual, he claims nothing stands out. Unknown to others, 2 undercover agents are working for an operative named King, who believes H will eventually lead them to the culprits behind the first robbery. H's colleagues celebrate his bravery, and he expresses gratitude before resuming his usual duties. 3 months pass, and while on a route with Bullet, a bicycle suddenly blocks their way. They're quickly surrounded by armed men, who deploy smoke devices to force Bullet out of the truck. When H steps out, however, the armed men immediately recognize him and retreat without taking the money. Terry, puzzled by the incident, questions why the robbers abandoned their plan just by seeing H. Blake, however, silences Terry and informs H that he'll now lead his own team, commending his effectiveness. Later, Bullet confides in Boy Sweat Dave, describing H as a dark soul, hinting at a deeper story. That night, H visits the home of a guard named Dana. He discovers a suspicious stack of cash in her apartment and confronts her, firing a warning shot to intimidate her. H pressures Dana into confessing that she stole money from a previous job. He then shows her photos of her family, warning of serious consequences if she lies. The story flashes back 5 months. H is shown spending time with his son, Douche, who is visiting the United States on vacation. H receives a call from his former associate, Mike, a criminal leader from whom H had previously distanced himself. Mike asks for H's help with one last job, assuring him there's no risk involved. Reluctantly, H agrees to provide information about the route of an armored truck. H and Douche drive to the docks, where the robbery is set to occur. While H buys food, tragedy strikes, and Douche is fatally injured in the chaos. H is left in a coma for 3 months and awakens to the devastating news of his son's death. Reeling from grief, H meets his ex-wife, Jane, who blames him for their son's fate. Determined to find those responsible, H confronts Mike and his crew, who were involved in the robbery. Mike promises to help H identify the individual directly responsible for the tragedy. The organization interrogates members of the criminal underworld, following leads until they uncover the names of a group of brothers involved in heinous activities. H confronts the brothers, but finds they lack useful information. In the process, H identifies a guard connected to the incident, prompting him to have his assistant, Kirsty, gather background checks and review documents related to Dooge's case. The scene shifts to the perpetrators of the first robbery, a group of former Afghan veterans led by Jackson. Disillusioned and ostracized, Jackson's crew includes Carlos, Sam, Tom, Brad, and Jan, the man who fatally injured Dooge and targeted H. The crew is shown planning another heist while celebrating at a party hosted by Jackson. During the heist, H and Dooge inadvertently cross paths with the crew. As events unfold, Sam orders Dooge to exit the car, marking the beginning of a chain of events that changes everything. Jen leaps over the railing, incapacitating two guards. When he realizes Dooge has seen his face, he panics and silences him before injuring H. Following this event, Jackson and his team begin planning their final heist, aiming to secure a sum exceeding $150 million. Their inside man, revealed to be Bullet, ensures the operation runs smoothly. Weeks before the heist, Jackson and Tom carefully review their strategy, while concerns arise about Jan's unpredictable behavior. Jackson assures the team that Jan will stick to the plan. As the day approaches, the crew gathers at their meeting point. Bullet, feeling conflicted, confesses to H about his involvement in assisting the crew. He warns H to cooperate, citing potential risks. Bullet disables the cameras and leads the crew to an abandoned building. Equipped with heavy gear, Jackson's team initiates the operation, taking control of the truck and securing everyone inside. They order the guards to stay down and remain quiet. However, one guard triggers the alarm, escalating the situation. In response, the crew attempts to maintain control as tension rises. Authorities are alerted, and a SWAT team is dispatched to the scene. Amid the chaos, H seizes an opportunity to act. He manages to disarm one of the attackers, rendering them unable to fight back, and takes their protective equipment. Strategically, H works through the scene, neutralizing threats one by one. When H encounters a team member loading cash into the truck, he demands they remove their helmet. Discovering it isn't Dooge's assailant, H continues his pursuit. Elsewhere, Dana and another guard hold off some of Jackson's crew, but Bullet betrays them, eliminating both and aligning fully with Jackson's team. In the chaos, Terry is forced into the open and is overpowered. H faces another attacker in a heated confrontation. Though injured, he prevails and continues his pursuit of the remaining crew. Recognizing Jan among them, H is flooded with memories of the tragedy involving his son. As the crew attempts to escape, they use an armored vehicle to break through police barricades. Despite a high-speed chase involving SWAT teams and helicopters, the crew reaches a hidden building and prepares for their final getaway. Through an underground tunnel system, inside, Jackson is critically injured during an exchange. The team abandons their vehicle and transfers the stolen funds to quad bikes. Jan and Bullet lead the way, but Bullet soon realizes Jan's intentions. Before Bullet can act, Jan takes the upper hand, securing the money for himself. Jan disappears into the tunnels, successfully evading capture. Later, he is shown in an apartment surrounded by the stolen money. A phone rings from his bag, breaking the silence. H appears behind him, placing a file on the table. Dooge's report. Jan begins reading, slowly realizing the gravity of his past actions. H confronts him, ensuring that justice is served in a way that mirrors the impact of his crimes. After completing his mission, H meets with Agent Kim to confirm that the situation has been resolved. The stolen money can now be recovered. H leaves the scene, stepping into a car with an associate. The car drives away as H finds closure and peace after bringing justice for his son.